Hello everyone. In today's episode, I'm joined with Shaun, and it's gonna be a good talk today because it's gonna be a bit of a mixture. We're gonna be talking about autism, and we're gonna have a little chat about football. So, Shaun, thank you for coming on today.
No worries.
Yeah. Uh, could could you introduce yourself, Shaun?
Yeah, I will. Yep. Sorry. Yeah, my name's Shaun. I've got daughter Rosie, who is 10, and she's diagnosed with autism, and a younger daughter Jessica, who's 6. So yeah, they keep us busy. I'm married to Sarah,
Yeah.
so we're very busy. A lot, a lot of the time with all what's going on with the kids and the multi schools as
Yeah.
well, which is a big part of our lives, as it is with you, Mason, as well, isn't it? It's big.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's yeah, we're busy. We're always busy.
Yeah. We all have stuff to keep us occupied, don't we?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, because like well, especially with the multi school council, they're always doing stuff, aren't they?
Yeah, Rosie's quite involved in that as well,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
which is good. And I think it's a great thing really, because you do need this kind of thing that just listens to parents and the children, I think.
yeah, yeah,
Certainly mainstream school hasn't been particularly easy for Rosie, but with autism and that really, and she's dyslexic as well, so it is a bit of a rough ride sometimes.
yeah,
But yeah, but
yeah,
she's a good girl, really. She's a good girl.
yeah, yeah. Because I think it's quite funny. I think the first time I met Rosie was when doing the Reach Out Speak Up program a couple of years ago.
Yes. Yeah.
And yeah, she did really good, and like haven't been able to do it as much due to COVID, really.
Yeah.
I think we tried it online
Yeah.
as well the year after, and
Mhm.
it went all right, but it wasn't as good as going and doing it in a school.
No, you can't beat that, because she went in February 2020. She went to Marketfield for 2 Saturdays, which I'm not sure if that was Reach Out, Speak Out or not, but it was definitely when she sort of really met quite a few people. And
Yeah,
unfortunately, then a month later, it all stopped. And yeah, as online is not the same.
yeah,
But, you know, um,
yeah. I think
having said that, yeah, she's used to it now. She's used to things being online.
yeah,
Whereas you and me know different than that, don't we?
yeah. Most yeah. I think
Yeah,
I think most people are nowadays, aren't we? We're always online.
yeah, we are, aren't we?
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah. What would you do without the internet?
I can't remember. I don't
No,
know now. I
don't
really
know.
don't. I don't know.
Don't
I
know.
don't know. It's weird to remember, because I remember a time when it wasn't. We didn't have an internet, but yeah, it's very or when it first came out, it was very different to what it is now. But
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah, I think yeah, like once we did that Reach Out Speak Up program, I think it was hearing about COVID, and then
yeah,
and I think it was gradually starting to get worse when we were doing it, and I had to be all careful and stuff. So
yeah,
like cleaning the tables down and
yeah,
and all that, because
mm.
you don't know, and at that point in time we didn't have tests for COVID or anything,
No, we didn't. We
and
just,
we
yeah,
just had to be careful,
yeah,
and there's no vaccines either. So
no,
so yeah, the first round of Reach Out Speak Out was pretty good, and we haven't really talked about it this year because my school's doing all sorts of different things, and like for
yeah. There's so much
busy.
going on, isn't there? There's so much
Yeah.
going on. Like you've got the Braxton Park event in a couple of months' time,
Yeah,
and also the midnight walk as well.
yeah.
So
I think for that we need a good night's sleep the night before.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I must admit, before Braxton Park, Rosie's at the O2 the night before. She's in the Young Voices choir.
Okay.
So yeah, so she's going to be playing at the O2 or singing at the O2, and then getting back quite late, and then out up early to go to Braxton Park. But she gets the day off school, which is what she likes anyway.
Yeah, that's what she's looking forward to on day of school.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what she's like. Yeah, definitely, she doesn't mind that.
Have they let her have a day off to go to?
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, they're pretty good. They are fairly good with that, really. But I think it's almost more important for her to be doing these things in some ways than actually being at school. You know, without going into it too much, she does have sort of one-on-one help at school. So, and now she's 10 years old, she does, you know, she realizes that. So, you know, she probably prefers to be away from school, but school isn't the be all and end all of everything, really. And I know now I'm older, I realise that myself, that school, you know, was very, when I was at school, you know, it's just what everyone did, but it's not for everyone. And now it's good that there's a lot of opportunities in other places, potentially. You know, because she's going to be moving up to senior school soon anyway. So, you know, next year. So, but we don't know which at the moment, but that's a long sort of story, really. But again, it's and the multi-schools are helping with that, really. I don't know where we sort of be without it, really, because I think it's very important that the children do have their own voice.
Yeah, that's what it's all about, isn't it? Like schools and allowing other people to have their own voices and stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because when I was 10, there wasn't no multi-school council.
No.
No. So, it kind of towards the end of my school years, really, or it might have been year 8. I might have been in year 8 or year 9 at school.
Yeah.
But I was a bit older, and like I was moving about. I was at mainstream for a period, and then I moved to Marketfield. So that which is it's not easy to go to. You have to do a lot of stuff.
Definitely.
To get into a school like that. And there's other people to speak to first, other than like the head teacher. Because it's a non-process, but as long as you're happy at a school, it's good.
Yeah, it's important, isn't it? It's very important. But that's probably our main worry for her at the moment is senior school. You know, it's important times, as you know, because you've been through it. How important it is to be in the right place, and obviously, like, would you say Marketfields was the right school for you?
Yeah. Marketfield's good school.
Yeah. I do believe that's probably best for her, but we'll just have to wait and see if she does get in there. Because you hear of a lot of people travelling a long way for their for the school, you know, to go to school, which is not ideal. I know some people that are you know, near London. They live around here. They're in London for senior school. It's not really great. You know, whereas it needs to be local, I think, or as local as it can be.
Yeah. Like I used to end up getting taxi because it was a bit tough for my parents to drive me every day. Because it's not like, it's kind of in the middle of nowhere, I suppose. That's the school, isn't it? And when I joined Marketfield, it wasn't at the place it is now. It was somewhere else, and like, I suppose I was there a few months, and then they're building this. They build a new school, and then like you kind of settle somewhere, and then you move into another one, and I was thinking, oh, I like this place, and then we're going to be moving.
Just got used to it,
yeah. But I did know that.
There's Rosie just coming
in. I did know that, though. I was moving. Moving when I joined. I said you only be about a few months, and then we changed it around.
Yeah, because it's obviously Elmstead now. Has it always been Elmstead Market? Was it somewhere else in Elmstead Market?
It was. It was out of school that. I can't remember directly where it was. I know it's near a place that was near a co-op somewhere. It was more near the town, I suppose.
Right.
But yeah, like, and then it's doing all right now. Like,
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very good. Like, because I did go to I went for mainstream for a year. For like year 7, and it wasn't very good.
No.
Because I didn't say anything about it because I didn't want to moan. And then people don't understand, and like, as much as people like they have good understanding of autism.
No. And you need to, that is what schools need to have, and it's hard. It's hard, I suppose, for them to have that without the proper training and things like that. Whereas market fields is what, if they will take that extra bit of time, they do. They are all taught. They are all qualified, to teach children with autism and other difficulties. And that's the patience thing, isn't it? Really.
Yeah.
It's required, really, and that's what I've learned as a parent over the last. I mean, Rosie was diagnosed in 2018, so for about 4 years now, and I just have, it's taken a little while, but you have to just realise that her way is her way, if you know what I mean. It's not, it's patience is really the thing, and just trying to understand it. And this is, again, I know I keep saying it, but where the multi-schools has come, it's really been good for us because we've met other families, and we've got, friendly with other families, which is really nice, who are going through, I wouldn't say going through the same sort of thing because it sounds like it's an illness, which it isn't, is it?
No.
It isn't. It's just the way, but it's, we understand each other, we understand each other and understand the children sometimes just need a bit of time. And it's not easy. It's not easy at times, but we just have to just have that bit of what I'm trying to say, just really patience, really, and just from a parent's point of view, because the thing is, you do worry, you do worry about that as a parent, as I'm sure your mum and dad would say the same. All you worry about is your kids, really. And they're happy, and that's the main thing.
Yeah.
And as you say, with you going to mainstream school for a year, wasn't the happiest time, for you. It's great that you managed to go to market fields. And I suppose really this is what we're worried about with Rosie, going into a big mainstream school. It's a massive change from primary, isn't it? It's a massive change, and and it's I wouldn't want her to go there and just sort of drift through school and not learn anything, because she can learn. It just needs the right people to teach her.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard because, like, some people do okay in mainstream that have autism. And I suppose it depends on the school, the mainstream school, and the mainstream kind of teachers and what teachers you get, and what you get taught. And the problem was for me, I was getting taught stuff that was too hard for my level. And teachers weren't under. I liked some teachers. Some were okay. I didn't really make much friends. I made probably one. I wasn't really focused on friends, I suppose, because I was focused on education, I suppose, because I wanted to feel comfortable and stuff, and I didn't. And teachers weren't very nice, really. So I had to. Well, I was there a year, and then I was very excited when I got the chance to look at a different school. In my mind, I was thinking it's just going to be the same as this. And then you go around it, and then you think, no, this is a bit different. And then eventually you join it, and it's not easy at first. Because you're the new person, and and everything, and like I did have a little induction day, and before I joined in the class.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was good, and kind of, I suppose, liking the feeling that like people look up to you when I didn't have that at mainstream.
No.
Like you, like if we met on the football court or something like that, and people picking you for things and stuff.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's sort of how it should be, really, isn't it? You know, and mainstream it isn't necessarily like that. And you know, I mean, going back to my own school days, really. I mean, I was quite shy for a long time. So, you know, even into adulthood, I was quite shy. But really, when I look back on it now, senior school didn't help. Although I don't have any. I had good times at senior school. I had a few bad times, you know. But I do realise now, being quiet, you know, and nobody helped me. Nobody took me to one side and said, you know, tried to. I had friends and everything, but I mean, you know, sometimes you sort of needed. I was never going to be the loudest person in the world, and I'm not now. But it would have helped me just for somebody to have a bit of some of the teachers, not that any of them were bad to me, but just maybe someone said, well, Shaun is quiet, but let's just go and maybe spend a bit of time with him, you know. But I suppose they didn't have the time to do it. Whereas I sort of hope at market fields with less numbers, things like that, you know, they're a bit more understanding. And because I think like with more understanding, Rosie will flourish in a lot of things, you know. Things that are important, maybe that at mainstream that you don't get to do. I think you certainly learn life skills and things like that at market fields, don't you? And things like that, which are important. You know, are really important. Sometimes more than learning about something that you're never ever going to use when you leave school.
Yeah.
But, you know, but I was just hopefully she can get there. But it's certainly been a long ride. But I think that could probably be another podcast, really. That kind of thing, talking about how hard it is for parents these days to battle certain things.
It is.
You know.
It's not easy.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Yeah, because when I was at Rosie's age, I wasn't confident, and from seeing her and putting all these ideas forward of the Mighty School Council and talking in meetings with other people that she probably doesn't know everyone. I don't think we all do. We all don't know everyone like properly. Like in a Mighty School meeting, and like she talked, she put her ideas forward. And when I was her age, I wasn't very confident because I was diagnosed with autism when I was 9, and I kind of didn't really accept having it myself. And which is why I wasn't confident, and I thought it was all bad and stuff. And then so yeah, I suppose that's the difference from when Rosie was my age, and when I was Rosie, that she's more confident. I think the Reach Out Speak Up program helped her, but even so, after that, she's even more confident, I would have thought.
Yeah, she definitely likes, you know, getting involved with the multi schools. It definitely helps her a lot. And as you say, back when you were diagnosed, there wasn't really anything like that. But it's great to see that there is now, and also that you're a part of it. You know, and you're, I would say, quite a confident young man, really. From what I don't know you very well yet, but you're always putting a lot of stuff on Facebook, which always I think is brilliant. What you do with all the Doctor Who stuff and all that, I just think that's great. So you've got the confidence like that. Whereas when I was your age, we didn't really have anything like that. You know, we didn't really have anything like that. And it was really nice to see, because I went to Connell's birthday at the weekend like you did. And it was good to see so many people there from a few people there from the multi-school, really. And it was nice to get together with you all. And he had a great time, didn't he? He had a really good time.
Yeah, he did.
And I think you got there as we were leaving, but
you
stayed up for a little while, didn't you? So it's really great that you all went to Market Fields together, didn't you?
Yeah,
Am I
like
right in saying that? Yeah,
yeah,
a lot
like
of you.
yeah.
Yeah,
He was there not longer than me, but
yeah,
we
mm,
became good friends in Market
yeah,
Field, and then yeah, we
yeah,
kind of went different ways, and then still meet
yeah,
up and stuff when we
yeah,
can. But COVID doesn't
yeah.
help with that. Like
No, not at all. No,
on
no.
my point of view, I suppose because of my Crohn's, that puts me
Yeah,
very vulnerable. So
yeah,
I can't do things, like I haven't been able to do
yeah,
things, and I wanted to go to this party just to
yeah, yeah,
have some fun. And I know there's always going to be a risk, and
yeah.
I think most people did do a flow test anyway. So it
We did. Yeah, we all did. I think he asked everyone to do it,
yeah,
which yeah is the only thing you can do, really, isn't it? And hope that you
yeah,
can still meet up with your friends and all that kind of thing in the future. Really, that's
yeah,
the main thing.
yeah. Like with the Doctor Who stuff,
Mm.
I do like to do it, and like it's only quite
Yeah,
recently, like pandemic, just when it
yeah,
starts, I started it, and then
yeah,
I thought, yeah, why not?
yeah,
Um, yeah, it's just if you keep something to keep busy, I suppose.
yeah, yeah. Of course, yeah,
Yeah, yeah, but yeah, like keeping busy when the might school cancelled. I unfortunately couldn't go on the Snowdon trip last year,
no,
but
no.
I heard it was really fun for everyone.
It was an experience. Yeah, it was really good. I'd done it once before with a friend, but it's very different going up with about 20 people, other people. That was quite interesting. And again, Rosie made a friend with Jonathan on there, going up there, walking up together they were, and I got friendly with her dad. So, we got talking, and he's an Ipswich Town fan as well,
Yeah,
Ron. So, but yeah, it's just great. It just showed that anyone can, you can do anything, and certainly autism or any difficulty really, it's not going to stop you too much. Probably if it wasn't for, um, you know, COVID and all that, you'd have been there as well, wouldn't you? And another time, hopefully we could do it again. That's what would be
yeah,
nice, because I think you could definitely do it. We did it at our own pace, really, as well. Another time, I think we'd do it. We could do it again at any time, really, or anything similar to that.
hmm,
But it was really good just to see, and you can see like Connell and Charlie and the few others. I've sort of seen on their Facebook afterwards just how proud they were of doing it, and I thought that was great. It was
yeah,
a real achievement, and lots of memories made, really. So it'd be good to do something like it again.
yeah.
But
I think
it was a good weekend.
I think at the time my Crohn's wasn't being too friendly, so I
No,
think
no,
that was one of the reasons, and COVID was
yeah,
I think pretty
yeah,
high at that time as well.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, as it goes up and down all the time, but
yeah,
I think it's started to
mm,
go up again now.
yeah,
But yeah, it's annoying, isn't it? Like things that stop you from doing things.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
It is, it is. But I'm hoping for you. You'll be able to your Crohn's will stay sort of under control. I have an auntie who's got Crohn's, so I do know
okay,
a bit about it. It's not
yeah.
it's not nice at all, is it?
No, no, it's not.
You know, but
um, yeah, like with like it is pretty tough. So sometimes
mm,
like you see other people without able to do stuff because um
yeah,
they don't have an underlying condition, and like
yeah,
and I suppose COVID might maybe worry about that as much if you don't
mm,
have an underlying condition. I think everyone does worry about it at some point, but
yeah,
you
yeah,
won't maybe not as fearful if it could get worse if you don't have
yeah, mm,
something there.
yeah,
But yeah, like it's always gonna be a worry and stuff. But like we got to I still want to do stuff. I want to
definitely,
do.
yeah, yeah. Of course you
Yeah,
do.
yeah.
Yeah,
I want to go to different places still this year, and
yeah,
um,
yeah,
yeah. But but yeah, like it's just like with autism, Shaun, did you know much about it yourself before Rosie was diagnosed?
I think I'm like probably most people,
Mm.
didn't really understand it at all. Really, I didn't really know 100% what it meant, because a lot of things that she did or still does, a lot of people would say to me, "Oh, she's just being a child," you know. Certain things now, me and Sarah can say, we can look back on, and she
Yeah,
wants to join in again. Yeah, you know, we can see now that she, you know, there was obviously signs of it, because she's our firstborn. We didn't really notice it too much. We didn't, you know, it was just the fact that she didn't like certain things, like the Hoover being on, things like that. You know, now looking back on it, you now know that was a sign. Although she's fine with that now, but you know, she doesn't like sudden noises, things like that, and change and things like that. So now you sort of see, there was quite a few pointers that, you know, she was autistic. But yeah, I was as naive as anyone, really, to be honest. And I think the thing is, when I was growing up, it wasn't a word that was used very much. It was
yeah,
probably only used if people were severely autistic, you know. And it's a lot, as we know, it's not, it's so much wider than that. It's so much, you know, so much. Back then it would have just been, you know, it would have been a child that was really disruptive or something like that, whereas she's not disruptive at school. Rosie's not disruptive at school very much at all, if you know. But it really just got picked up in her second year at school, or you know, her first proper year at school, that she wasn't learning as fast, shall we
yeah,
say, you know. And that is the thing, there's a lot of pressure on them to learn and be, you know, all be the same and all have the same sort of levels, which is not what life's really like. But
yeah,
um, but I now know, you know, it hasn't got to define her life by any means, and you know, it's something not to be scared of, and it's, you know, it's something that we can just sort of, you know, we've got to just have a bit of patience with things, you know.
yeah. It
And
is.
you know, so many people that are on the spectrum, you know, anyway. So it hasn't got to stop. I just, you know, it hasn't got to stop her getting a job or anything like that when she's older. It's just, you know, probably it's going to be mainstream school is going to be not really suitable. But you know, but she's
Yeah,
got friends. She's got friends, and you know, like we all have. You know, she has ups and downs with them, but then we all have. But it's just, it's
yeah,
a different, as you know yourself, probably it's a different sort of way of looking at it sometimes. But I think going back a few years, it's a bit maybe off the subject, but this was before Rosie was diagnosed. I used to work in a garage,
mm,
and one of the young mechanics there had ADHD, and so it's going back probably 6-7 years. And I said to him, because I didn't really understand anything at the time, I said, and this might sound really bad, and I hope you don't feel bad of me. I
mm,
said to him, do you like having, you know, do you find it's a bit of a label having being called ADHD? And he stepped at me, and he was quite right to, because
mm,
he said no, he said that's who I am, and you know, people sort of need to realise that's who I am. It helps me that people know I'm ADHD. Um, and yeah, at the time you can see how naive I was about it all, you know.
yeah,
But and I spoke to him after that. I thought, no, it's, this guy's a young lad. You know, he did things a bit differently. He did, you know, and he certainly, you know, you could tell now he's got ADHD. You could tell, but he's got on in life still, and even is a mobile mechanic all on himself. So hats off
mm,
to him. But back then, all them years ago, I didn't understand it. But now, obviously, 6 years on, I understand a lot about, you know, autism and other difficulties. Um, but yeah, but before, no, I mean, it's taken a while for family to get used to it as well, you know, get used to it. But I think most people understand it far better now than what they did a few years ago,
yeah,
you know. And it is just a patience thing, you know. We have to have a patience thing, and she's still our, you know, still our daughter, and it doesn't change anything really.
Yeah.
I'm probably going on a bit now, but
I know you're not.
it's it's just that's why it's so important for things like the multi schools, and like talking to you tonight is a really good thing for me to do, because it helps me understand even more about autism and things like that, and sort of things that you've been through as well.
Yeah,
I think.
yeah, because
I mean,
in a minute I can tell you a little few
mm,
situations which happened in mainstream school,
yeah,
which kind of proves that they don't have a better understanding. But
yeah,
go, going into like Rosie and a job, that's always something you always worry about, because at school,
yeah,
they say that like early on, don't they?
mm,
What
yeah,
what do you want to do for a job? And
yeah.
you won't know at that age
No,
where
no,
where
no.
unless like hobbies, it kind of links with your hobbies, I think. But
Yeah,
a little bit if Rosie likes dancing, maybe she wants to be a dancer. But
yeah, yeah,
it's very hard, because I
mm,
for me it was, well, football coaching, still want to when things
yeah,
do improve, and because I got
yeah,
my coaching, I did a coaching FA level 1 um
yeah. That's excellent. Yeah,
at the university before pandemic, and I got it all, and then I did it just for fun. And then when I was at
yeah,
primary school, I had a coach, like he
yeah,
came to primary school, do a bit of PE
yeah,
and football,
yeah,
and
yeah,
what happened was, afterwards, every year it was the same coach, same person, it's like from when I was like starting school to leaving, and then he's still there, and then you do these football camps in the holidays, and I go there, and then as I get older, I have to help, and it's good, because
yeah, yeah,
and that this is with people with autism as well, and
mm,
other needs as well. It's based on kind of people. Um,
yeah,
and what happened was 2020-ish. It might, yeah, it would have been. He gave me a call and said, "Am I looking for like a job or anything?" And that was finished at the time. I would have loved to,
mm,
like, no COVID times. I probably would have been there now,
yeah,
and stuff. But
yeah,
I said, let you know. Um, I'll let you know when I can. COVID gets a bit better, and everything, because
mm,
he's a very understanding person, and yeah, it's something it's still on my book to do, but at this minute in
yeah,
time, not the minute. So
yeah,
yeah, like anything can happen. Like even with Rosie, or they might get cancelled in the future for people might offer like
mm,
jobs as it gets bigger, I suppose.
yeah.
So yeah, there's so many different things, and um, being
There
autistic,
is. Yeah, yeah,
in certain jobs, it can be not accepting of it, or
mm,
it's very like low percentage of people having autism being successful, but that shouldn't stop
yeah.
anyone from doing something they like to do, I think.
No, definitely not. And I'd hope that when COVID's not so bad, that you can get on and do that coaching, and if
Mm.
that's because that's obviously a big passion of yours, football, and the same with Rosie. Rosie enjoys making sort of videos and things like that on YouTube. I mean, it's again, it's a passion of hers, and autism's not going to stop her doing that, and a
Yeah,
lot of other things. But I think we need to get rid of any sort of stigma around autism in the workplace. Again, it will be something like school, won't it? That people will just have to have more understanding of it, and it certainly is getting better over the years. I think from what I can see, I just hope it gets even better. Really.
yeah, I hope so. Like I'd always like to go back, but it's quite funny, when I left mainstream, they said, "Am I going to come back and visit?" And
Mm.
of course, I had to say yeah. I couldn't say no. I want to get questioned.
Yeah,
um,
yeah,
so I said, "Yeah, I'll come back." But in my head, I thought it was a stupid question, because why would I go back
mm.
somewhere I'm leaving?
Yeah, yeah,
um, but
yeah. I know.
but a few things. What happened is, once I got told to go to the library after lunch and just
Mm.
like, wait to go in, and me and a couple other people in the class did that, and
Yeah,
about 20, 15, 15, 20 minutes just standing there,
yeah,
and
yeah,
then well, I think something's wrong, something's up here. Well, why we should be wearing this long? Then we walk in back, and the teacher is saying, "Where have you been?" And I'm like, "Oh, library," like you said, went outside. And then her response is, "I didn't ask, I didn't say that." And then in my mind, I'm saying it did. And then there was some confusion, and then she blatantly says, I think she said you have a detention, and like I don't remember what happened after that. I think I went to it, but I'm not a bad person. It was just lack of understanding from their part, I think. And another situation is like asking for help because the ties at school were difficult there. It's not like it was like Marketfield, or I don't think you have to wear one. At this school you do, and I asked because I struggle with it, and even when if I ask like a teacher, for example, they say I don't know how to do it, or they tell me to do it when I'm asking for them to help. And they rush you a lot as well.
And isn't that wrong? Isn't that wrong that, you know, you can get into trouble over an item of clothing that actually, to be honest, not many people wear from a day-to-day basis now anyway, you know, not many people wear ties, do they? And, you know, but it is a, you know, again, like Rosie has a tie that's just on a bit of cord, you know, I mean, is it any massive sort of deal if you can't do a tie up? It's not really, is it? It's not really, but unfortunately in sort of school the way it is part of it. And I think I can see what you mean about the library thing as well. I mean, that sounds almost like the teacher was, well, she was picking on you, wasn't she? Really, she was really. It's sad to say they were and there's just no, if they've told you to go there, that's what you're going to do, isn't it? And that's what and you haven't done anything wrong, and you were waiting there quite rightly until you got told to come back. You know, but it sounds like she really, wasn't too good really there for you.
And then I think the following morning, that the head of year come in and brought the couple of us out of class, and he said it was very it wasn't very nice. It was in a tone that was not nice, and he was saying, "Why were you all late for class yesterday?" And I was thinking, why is the teacher told him this, obviously from her point of view, not actually given the chance for me or anyone else to give our point of view, because of course they wouldn't listen to us because we're just people in the class. And what happened was I was the one who spoke because everyone else was too shy, and I was a little bit as well from the way he was speaking. And I said, I just did what I got told to do. And then he said, I'll let you off this time. And because that particular time I wasn't confident, really. And in my head I was thinking, and now I would say, I'm let me off for what? I've been let off for something that I thought I'd done, and I'm getting told off for something that I thought I'd done right. And but
as you say, you hadn't really done anything wrong. You hadn't gone in there and wrecked the library or been loud or anything like that.
Couldn't get in anyway.
Wait
outside for that in.
You had to wait outside, as you say. It's just, it just sounds like it's bullying, really, isn't it? And that kind of thing has got to stop, hasn't it? Really, you know, at schools, it's a shame that they're like, you know, they can be like that. I suppose for some teachers it's probably an authority thing, isn't it? That's really kind of old fashioned, and it's not good, is it? It's not good.
That was when I was in year 7. I don't know if things have changed by then. I don't know how they do things now. I would hope so they would, but I don't think they would, because if people are still going to special schools, that proves it still continues. Because we wouldn't need to call them mainstream and special schools, would we? We just call them school.
School.
It's just I say the human race made it like this. Certain people.
I think you're right, because you know when I was at school was school, and you just accepted it for what it was. But as you say, things have moved on, and who knows what it would be like in 15, 20 years. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
you can't. Some of the things that I went through at school would definitely be old fashioned now and wouldn't happen anymore. You know, and things do have to move on. You know, we've got to just keep moving with it. And
Yeah.
yeah,
What I used to do was, like, there's two other things that happened, and one was I lost where to go, and this teacher said to me, well, where's your like your planner, like your map, like of the school? I said, it's got my bag. I'm just getting it, and then I could just tell he didn't want to be here, helping me, because he was just huffing, and then he actually said, "Can you hurry up? I've got to be somewhere." And then I think I said, "If we need to be somewhere, just leave. I'll just figure out myself if you could be like that." And he said, "No, no, hurry up." And then even when he told me, I got out and stuff. He asked me what class I was at, and I said, "I don't know. That's why I'm lost." And he said, "I can't help you then." And something like that. And to go back to the tie thing, what I used to do was like just basically run out of school with it. And then there's always a person at the gate saying, okay, "Well, where's your tie?" And then sometimes you used to ignore him, and then he shouted and said, "Can you put your tie on?" And I think I'm out of school now. I don't need it. But it shouldn't have been like that. Me running out of school just because I don't want to get asked to put it on, or like help them, or just get kind of made fun of, I suppose, by teachers and them knowing that you can't do it.
And when you think about it, really, why can't it just be, if they've got to wear a tie, why can't there just be a clip-on one, or one that you just put over your neck? You know, I mean, I struggled to do a tie and my laces for many years, and even now, if I do a tie, which is not very often, it can be very different. 1 minute it's very thick at the top and thin, and then long, and then the other way as well. You know, I can't always get it right, but what does it really matter? And for a young child, you know, can't we just have one that clips on, or just goes around, you know, as on a bit of cord or something like that, just so it's easy? And because ultimately it's taking time out of, you know, important things, school time, isn't it? Really, it's taking time out of that for something that is really trivial. You know? Really. And why couldn't that teacher help you get to your class? Why couldn't he say, "Look, I've got to be somewhere, but come with me. I'll show you this time. And I'll this time I don't mind. I'll show you around," and just been a bit more kind. And that's what a lot of it's about.
Yeah, I feel like in schools, or any school really, that people who don't engage in the class, teachers pick on more. Rather than, like, say you've got a person asking all the questions, and there are someone just sitting there, may not be comfortable with answering this question. I feel like that definitely happened when I was at school. Like, I don't know if it happens at Rosie's or anything like that, or like even primary school it happens, doesn't it? That they'll pick on the kids that maybe are quiet and don't engage as much.
Yeah, definitely. We certainly probably had that in one of the years where Rosie was at school, when they had a teacher that was came in as a maternity cover, and she's still, to be fair, she's still there now, but she was a lot more old school, and her whole opinion was, "I will teach this class. Child in this class will know their times table by the end of the year." Now, that's just old-fashioned, isn't it? And it's not the way. It's not the way. I mean, Rosie, in the last year or so, she's in year 5 now, with her one-to-one, has started to learn her times table, and it just goes to show, doesn't it, that these things can be taught, but not when you've got somebody that's saying, "I will teach you this by the end of the year," and putting pressure on. It's been done gradually, you know. But it's wrong, isn't it? But there'll be another child in the class that can straight away get all the times table straight away, but there'll be several that won't. And why should they, be made to feel to be made to feel like they're stupid?
And then knowing that you
I'm
might
sure you'll
get the
agree.
answer wrong.
You'll probably yeah, you'll probably agree with me, really, since you've left school and stuff. How many times do you do your times table? You probably
Well,
don't.
no,
And
yeah, just use your calculator.
It's use your calculator. So, but yeah, it's great if you can learn it all,
Yeah.
but it's not necessary to be all and end all. And to have a teacher say, "I'm going to teach the whole class," or everyone's going to know how to do it. It's not. It's not what children aren't machines, and people aren't machines, are they?
I've got a similar
You know.
situation to that actually. When I was in year 4, which would have been a long time ago,
Yeah.
the funny thing was the same teacher taught my year, but also was here so long ago, taught my brother who's 15 years older than me. We went to the same
Right.
primary school, and
Yeah.
what she did, the timetables thing, like everyone had a timetable sheet, and you get a sticker if you get a whole timetable set correct, and
Yeah.
yeah, like everyone had to do it. And once, because I was probably daydreaming and stuff, and she asked me a question about it might have not been times table, but I think it was, and like in front of the whole class, and like I kept getting the answer wrong about
Yeah.
5 or 6 times. It might have been even 10, and then she kept asking me until I get it right, and then she said, "No one's going to lunch or break until you get this answer right." And then she puts more pressure, saying, if you don't get it right in a minute, you'll have a detention and you have to go to next door and just sit
Yeah.
outside. And
Yeah.
eventually I did get it right. But
Yeah.
I think the point was that the way she was doing it, she was old fashioned as well.
Yeah.
So it wasn't really on. And the funny thing is, Shaun, I
Yeah.
went on a trip to London about a few years ago,
Yeah.
and I think just before the pandemic, and she was on that bus, that teacher.
Really.
Yeah, that's the first time I've seen her, and
Yeah.
and I remember everything she did and like how she is and stuff,
Yeah.
and I was civil. I was like, "You all right?" uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, I wouldn't also talk to her and stuff. But yeah, like, you get teachers like that aren't very nice.
Yeah. And it's not, it's not right, is it? It's not right. It's not great. There was certainly a few teachers when I was at school that, would say nasty things every now and then. And, but as you say, sometimes in class, you do switch off, don't you? And with some things, we're all like, I think we all do that at times.
Yeah.
Even the children that sort of do really well, they still probably there's things that they don't like, without a doubt. So why should it be, any different for anyone really? But yeah, this is where it isn't equal, is it? And but that's stuck with you for the whole of your life.
Mm.
You remember it now, don't you? So I
Yeah.
reckon you probably, when you saw it, it was probably almost a little bit like, yeah, I don't want to. So she recognised you, did she? She knew it was you.
Yeah, she
Yeah,
knew my
yeah,
she remembered my brother more
yeah, yeah,
because yeah, because I suppose my brother was more engaging more than me um
yeah,
in our classes probably, and yeah, because yeah, she taught him as well, so it like
yeah.
she don't really remember me, to be fair. It wasn't a bad
No,
thing though.
no. That was like, I must admit, it was like that for me sometimes because of being the quiet one. Being one of the quieter ones that teachers wouldn't, they wouldn't remember you. They wouldn't remember you, but in the long run, when you get older, you become your own person anyway, and that's all that I think that really matters. School
Yeah.
is a very small period of your life, really, and it's a lot of things happen, don't they? But it's about what you become afterwards, I think. And I've tried to say that really in some ways to Rosie. It's more going to be about what you do after school, when you leave school, than maybe what you do in it. Sometimes if it's not for you.
Yeah, because you're not going to be at school forever. And then
Exactly.
of course you've got college afterwards, and
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
and yeah, you go to college, and which I do still at the moment.
Yeah.
Because yeah, I do at the moment. Just try to get, I suppose, grades up there and a bit better than
Yeah.
last year. And then
So is that sixth form you go to, or is that?
I kind of moved. I did.
Yeah.
I went to the college to start with, Markfield
Yeah.
College, because that was the easiest thing. And then
Yeah.
after that, I did move. I moved
Right.
to Culture Institute, but then I
Yeah.
moved from there to a different college because they
Yeah.
understood the college I'm at now. They kind of understand more
Mhm.
about me, and because really
Yeah.
what the government was saying, that anyone could go out now and stuff. But at the institute, they kind of suppose pushed me to go in and stuff, and
Yeah.
that's a very
Mm.
big college and everything
Yeah.
and stuff. And,
Yeah. I used to go there. And it is a big place, isn't it? It's a
yeah,
quite an intimidating place, Culture Institute.
yeah,
From what I remember when I went there, it was, it's and also it's a funny thing because the teachers are very different there because you don't have to be there, don't you?
yeah. They say
It's
you can be
very
wherever you
much,
want.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. So but it's quite an intimidating place, and it's very strange because you go all of a sudden to being not full time as well, don't you? You're only there
like
here and there
few
and
days.
certain hours,
Yeah, yeah,
few
few days a
days,
week.
and yeah, a few days. So it's very different. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I can't. Like, I did like my time was there. Like the first year was good. Then
yeah,
the second year had to wasn't as there as much,
mm,
and I
yeah,
yeah, they wasn't. I suppose they weren't very. They say they were understanding of my crimes, but uh,
mm,
if they're like saying I've got to come in, or if I can't, if I got to come in because if I can't, I maybe possibly have to come off the course, means they're
mm,
not. And
mm,
I moved to the college I'm at now, and it's fine. Like ever since I've done it here, and they haven't really just told
yeah,
me to go in. Um,
yeah,
and they don't have windows open, like the aircon. I only have an
yeah,
aircon, and the windows don't open in the room, and
yeah,
it's probably
mm,
best for me to be here than there because
yeah,
so say someone sneezes, it's not going
yeah,
out, it's staying in and going round. So
yeah, yeah,
um, it's a bit different. But yeah, I suppose I wouldn't. I'd probably be doing my coaching if COVID went
yeah,
around. But
yeah,
but I yeah, just it keeps me busy. I suppose at least I'm doing something. That's,
yeah.
yeah,
That's important. Yeah,
yeah. But and multi school council as well. It's mostly online nowadays.
yeah,
um,
yeah,
uh, but before COVID times, it was actually most of the meets was at my school, market fields. Like people would come there and
mm,
in the room upstairs, and we'll sit round, and
yeah.
pretty nice to do
I
that.
hope it goes. Hope it goes back to that. Hopefully, it'll go back to that. In the next year or so. Um, because all we really know is the multi schools is Zoom meetings. Not what we're doing
Yeah,
today.
yeah,
But
yeah.
hopefully,
You don't think you've been on like the actual ones like when they were in person?
no, it all was just really. Rosie just got involved in it just as COVID started,
Yeah,
which is But hopefully sooner or later it will be okay just to meet up and we won't have any worries at all about it. Hopefully everyone gets jabbed and or at least takes tests before they go places and things like that. That's
yeah. So it's more bigger worry nowadays, isn't it? Because you don't
yeah,
have to. You don't have to do that. You don't have to social
that's the
distance.
thing. No, you don't have to do anything, do you? You don't have to do anything, but
Mm,
then it's still there, and it says for yourself, especially with an underlying health condition, you do worry.
mm,
You must worry all the time about just going anywhere, really.
yeah.
But
Ju-
yeah,
what was your thoughts on that when they actually said that? Like, was you a bit shocked?
what the what for to actually stop doing stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
to
Just
stop doing. Yeah, well, it was a wrong decision, wasn't it? I think anyone with a bit of common sense would have said, keep your masks on until April or something like that, or at least. And the problem is, as soon as you say to somebody, you say to people, "Oh, you don't have to wear a mask," means that a lot of people won't,
yeah. That's it.
and probably three-quarters of people now don't. You go in a supermarket and no one's wearing them. I was wearing one today. I went into Morrison's in Ipswich, and I feel like about the only one in there without it. People sort of almost gawp at you, but I don't. I'll be honest with you, I'm not worried because
Mm,
there'll be a time where hopefully we won't have to wear them. And if I've got it and I'm not, and I don't realise it, and I'm not spreading it to people, then hopefully.
yeah,
But yeah, a lot of people sort of, it really has been. I never thought in my lifetime that I'd ever see anything quite like this. And I'm sure you're the same.
Yeah.
A lot of people are saying that we'd never see anything like this. Even when it was starting to come this way, and it was in Italy and things like that, I didn't believe it was ever going to really get here and do what it did.
Yeah, it was a bit of a shock. And we always got to wonder when it was in China, why couldn't they just shut the borders and just kept it in China? And but of course, there's people from England living in China and they come back from holidays and stuff. And but yeah, like if you think they could have kept it in there, maybe it could have calmed down in time, maybe over there, and then we wouldn't have had this pandemic. But shame we can't get in the TARDIS.
No, exactly. That's right. It'd be much easier if you could
go back to 2019.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, but yeah, like so much has changed throughout the year, and like I suppose not getting talked about as much now, COVID, and, but because what's going on in other countries at the moment. But yeah, like it's hard, isn't it?
Yeah, very, very much so.
Yeah. So if we move on to football for the last part, Shaun.
Yeah, that's fine. No problem.
Yeah. So, have you always been interested in football since you was little?
Definitely. Well, I was probably about 7 or 8, and first game I ever watched on television was Arsenal or Liverpool versus Arsenal. It was the very last game of the season, and Arsenal needed to win by 2 clear goals to win the league, Division 1 as it was at the time. And I didn't have a television in my room at the time, so I actually watched it in my sister's room. I remember that. And Arsenal got 2 late goals to win the league. And by this point, I was already getting quite interested. I always had the sticker books and things like that. And I hadn't been to a game. And my dad was an Ipswich fan from probably his teens, I suppose. And he took me to a game with my cousin and my uncle. I always remember it. We played Port Vale and won 3-2. And from there on in, I've been an Ipswich fan ever since, and that's 32 years ago now.
Oh.
So it's quite some time.
Yeah. It's quite funny you say that, like Arsenal and Liverpool, because I think they're playing right now, aren't they, in the Premier League?
I think they are. Yeah,
I think they
are actually.
So
they probably are.
As we're recording this, they're playing now, and that's the first game, you saw.
Yeah,
but
it was. It was the first game that I took sort of any interest in, really, and it was because it was a weird one because it was a Friday night game, which was very odd back then, and I think it was only been played then because of the Hillsborough disaster. I think because that had been a few weeks before, but so I ended up, I've probably been. I was saying to the girls the other night because I took Jessica to her first game last week, and Rosie, that was her second game. I worked it out because I was a season ticket holder throughout the 90s, pretty much. I've probably been to 300 and something games, which is a fair few, I suppose. But I mean, people that have been to a lot more than me. But because I've not had a season ticket now for years, and I've just gone 2 or 3 times a season when I can. And obviously it's expensive to go to, isn't it, these days?
Yeah.
It really is very expensive. But I've certainly had some very good times going to watch Ipswich play, and some pretty bad ones as well, I suppose. But you know what it's like.
Yeah. Well, that's what it's like being an Ipswich fan.
It's very rare. The last 10 years, especially, have been really not very good. But I think it's starting to look a bit better now. I think.
Yeah, they're playing good. They're playing good football
at
the moment.
Yeah, and they look organised now when they play. Last Tuesday against Lincoln was it was never in any doubt that they were going to win that game, and really they really are playing quite well. Because have you been recently? Have you been since McKenna's been in charge?
No, I haven't been since kind of late last year when Kate started to rise, and because that does even worry them because no one had to not to wear a mask and stuff. I was the only one there. I'll wear mine. And everyone close contact and stuff. and because they don't wear that, say is they have to, because it's as in the end. But yeah, I haven't been since last year. Hopefully, I would like to go again this year. I've got a season ticket, so I would like to. But last time I went was with Paul Cook, and I've got his. I speak to Paul Cook. I used to sometimes, and him. I met him and everything. And since I haven't met Paul Buchanan, not Paul Buchanan, Kieran McCann. Yeah, I'd like to meet him though. I've asked, and at some point, hopefully, if he stays in charge, I'm sure he will. Should be in charge.
I think he will. Yeah, I think Paul Cook was a decent person, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's a very good person.
You know, maybe not the right man for the job at that point, but he certainly has given us the team that we've got now, though, hasn't he? By bringing all those players in.
Yeah, we've got some good players.
They've got some very decent players now, and they're starting to play as a team, which is really good to see. But I think the playoffs, you just never know. You never know. They might make it, but it's going to be last game of the season.
Yeah,
it's going to be last game of the season and scrape in, I reckon. But the problem is all the teams around us keep winning, don't they? You know, that's one of the things.
We keep dropping points, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, 0-0 draws.
Yeah, I know. And at the start of the season, you know, it was goals galore all the time, wasn't it? Whether it was for us or the other sides. But that's how it kind of goes, really, you know, in football, I think. Yeah. But when was your first game? Ipswich? Was it when you were a child or?
Yeah, recently? Well, I originally went to Col United games because when I was younger, you know, those Col United things where you could go, like, you do a couple of activities and then you can get the match for free. I used to do that. Yeah. I mean, and then I think Col United were rubbish and weren't winning the games and stuff. And then all of a sudden go to Ipswich to see. I've quite a lot know some people that go to Ipswich and I go there, and then I always used to get a badge on my hat. Get a badge of the team we're playing. Get a Portman Road pie. I would normally sometimes. And normal times I'd be going into the cafe, have a drink, and chat ahead of the game. And I always like night games as well.
Night games are the best.
Even if it's cold, I do enjoy the night games.
I mean, to be fair, over the years, I mean, I've been there in all sorts of weathers. You know, it didn't really ever bother me. You know, I've been there freezing cold and, you know, rain pouring down, but, you know, it's all part of it, isn't it? It's, you know.
Yeah, I even remember a team like playing against Bournemouth when they were in. This was from the Championship. It might even been League One. Well, to be fair, I think I've seen Bournemouth against Colchester and Ipswich, and when the Colchester in League Two or League One, because they were moving about all the time. All these teams, but I do think Ipswich keep the same manager. We always say any manager needs to build his team. Well, he doesn't really need many other players, but maybe if our striker Bond, if he doesn't come back, I think that's just depending if QPR go up or down. But even so, I don't think he wouldn't be at Ipswich if he wasn't getting in the team. So it'd be nice to get him on a permanent deal.
Yeah. It's a shame that the goals have dried up for him, but I was saying to somebody the other day that it's not because he's become a bad player, it's just one of those things that's happened, you know, and that, like, Saturday he scored, didn't he, and it wasn't offside, but it got given offside, and that's just when luck's not going for you, really, you know. But he's not become a bad player overnight.
No,
it's just things aren't going for him. But in a way, McKenna's been quite good because you know, Norwood's not playing now either, is he? You know, and a few months ago he was putting the ball in the back of the net, but he likes to rotate it. But
he does.
I've not really heard of the injuries to Jackson or Morsey, how bad they are.
Morsey's known for getting his red cards, though, isn't he?
I'd look at the stats actually in the programme the other night. He's already got 10 or 9 yellow cards already, and he's probably only played 20 games for us. So
even before he joined, he had a ban from, I think it was
he did from Middlesbrough. He did. He
Yeah,
did. He's just that kind of player, I suppose. He's
yeah.
just that kind of player.
I think like all the Ipswich fans, like on the groups, like you got on Facebook, and I used to go on those groups and
Yeah.
put stuff, but I don't anymore because the
No.
Ipswich fans aren't very friendly. So some of them, for
Yeah.
what stuff you're putting on there.
Yeah.
So if I doing well, I might, but I don't really now
Yeah.
because I used to
No, I
get
know.
quite a lot of hate from the Ipswich Town,
Yeah.
like forums, and
Yeah.
which it wasn't friendly. And then I think I'm autism. I got autism, and they still wouldn't
Yeah.
get it and stuff like that. But it's like I don't you have your it like Ipswich fans are nice people, but just the
Mm.
groups aren't. I don't find.
I think the thing is online as well. You never really know whether these people are just, I notice, I do look at all the comments. I rarely put one, but you do. There's always people on there that are quite negative, even now, even at the moment. Yet they've only lost twice in 15 games,
Yeah.
And people are really horrible. And I think when I was watching football as a kid, we didn't have any of that. It was all right. There was abuse on the on the terraces to the players, not on the
Yeah.
terrorists.
Hope not.
There was no
Yeah.
terrorists there.
Yeah.
But nowadays it's all online, and it doesn't stop. I could just go on there and write what I want, really, can't I? To some degree, it's not really right. And I think you do the best thing by not really commenting on there. Not that you should be able to say what you want on there, but why people got to be nasty, and they're horrible. Everyone's got an opinion, but some people are so negative on there, and I think they're looking for a bit of a reaction, aren't they?
Yeah.
But it's only entertainment.
Yeah.
And you should go out there and enjoy it. There'd be times when Ipswich are terrible, as we've known in the last few years, when they've hardly had a shot on goal. They've hardly had a shot on goal, and God knows why that is. And now, they're getting at least 10 to 15 shots on goal a game.
You thought it'd be the second half.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be rubbish in the first half, and the second half would be all right.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy, really, but we haven't. I think the thing is, a lot of fans as well think that we should be in the Premiership and things like that, but there's no right to be there, is there? Just because of the past of the club. But
that's the aim of the owners. Like they're here till we get to the Prem, I think.
Yeah.
Because that's what they want. Like I've heard them speaking when they first joined us, and they are good. They're they're with it, and they're the supporters of the club, and with what Ipswich are doing at the moment, I can see personally. I don't know if we're going to get promoted this season, but next season, if we keep the way we're playing now, I think we will have a really good chance.
Well, I think so. Yeah, I think so. We certainly should be up there next season. But again, let's just keep patient with it all. And McKenna seems to know a little bit of what he's doing football-wise. He knows, he seems to know. He doesn't. Problem is, we always moan about McCarthy never bringing anyone on, substitutes on, and things like that. And whereas this guy does seem to change the game, doesn't he? He does seem to think, oh, actually, this isn't working. Let's shuffle it around a bit. And I think
the thing is with a new manager, every Ipswich manager they get, all the Ipswich fans, or most of them will slag him off him when he ain't started. He was saying, oh, here we go. If he loses the first few games, it's going to be bad. And that's
the thing. Yeah. That's the thing of nobody's got any patience these days. I remember when Burley joined, and we still got relegated, and we lost 9-0 at Man United. So imagine if that happened to McKenna now. He would have probably been, everyone would have wanted Burley out. Yet Burley went on to be a very successful manager for us.
Yeah, he's had a really good start. He's hardly lost any games as well, McKenna.
Yeah, we haven't lost at home. I mean, we don't really look like we're going to concede very often.
No.
So it's all good. I mean, I know the goals have dried up a bit, but that's just the way it goes sometimes. I'd like to think that if we do get into the playoffs this year, that we would go up, obviously. But if not, next year, with a bit more time,
It's going to be
I would
hard.
like to think we'll be up there. It's going to be very hard because, you know, you might have sort of a team like Derby coming down, mightn't you? And people like that, you know. I think we have to realise that we're a big club, but we're not, you know, you look in our division now, Sheffield Wednesday, obviously you've got Sunderland,
Yeah.
even, you know, and even Wigan, people like that, they're big clubs as well, you know, really, you know, been in the Premier League and everything. And yeah, it's not going to be easy. And whoever comes down, it won't be easy.
Yeah, they're always the favourites, aren't they? The ones who come down.
They're always the favourites. And I mean, look at Rotherham. I mean, Rotherham are flying, aren't they?
Yeah, and we're
They're absolutely flying. Yeah. Oh, it's crazy. I mean, and whenever we play Rotherham now, I think we're the underdog. You know, and I wouldn't have thought that a few years ago.
Yeah, like like I think because like we kept drawing and stuff, I think we are behind. But we go on a win and run like we had before. We could always have a chance. Like we did I think we beat Wickham twice.
We've doubled them.
And we got. They're gonna be hard games, but if we have a good finish, there's a chance. But I always think when it's unfair the playoffs. I feel in every league.
They are,
because say someone finishes sixth, they have a good chance of going up, and they could be 20 points behind third place, so just missed out on second.
You know, it's always, what has it been for like 30 odd years since they brought it in, but it keeps the interest in the season, doesn't it? It just keeps people, you know, people having something to play for, because really years ago this would have been Ipswich would have just been playing out the season. So, but it is unfair when you think about it, isn't it? It's unfair to think of a team that's third that could probably near enough go up automatically could be 20 points ahead of a team and lose to them, you know, in over 2 legs and be out. And that team goes up.
I think it was Huddersfield the other year. I think it was sort of like that for them when they got promoted to the Premier League. And they finished about I think it was sixth. And Derby have even been in the playoffs before. I've like with Derby, I know lots going on with their team, but years ago I always thought Derby, how good they were in the Championship. But before all what's happened, they were a team that I would think would have been a Premier League already. But Wayne Rooney's doing a really good job there, though. He's hopefully gonna.
He is. And if you get a chance, I don't know if you've seen the documentary about Rooney on Amazon. It's quite good. It's worth a watch. But I'm a little bit sad for any football documentary or any sport documentary, but that's a good one to watch, the Rooney one. Quite interesting. Quite an interesting one to watch. But it is. I hope they stay up. Really, I hope Derby do stay up. But they lost again last night, I think.
Oh, it's a shame. Shame because they was winning.
I think they lost 3-1 in the end. I think they did.
Well, one more thing, Shaun, before we go. Do you have any maybe advice you could give maybe to other parents like you that have maybe any children that have autism?
I think what I've probably learned is patience. I think I've probably said that a few times tonight, patience, but it's going to be, I think you also need to remember at times to be your own person still, and you probably need a bit of time to yourself sometimes. And I know I'm a member of a group on Facebook, which is North Essex Dads, I think, or something like that, for children with learning difficulties of dads. And to be honest, they're getting together and doing lots of things like football and things like that, just for a bit of their own time, you know. And I think it does help to talk. I think talk to other parents of children with learning difficulties. I think because there's so many people in the same boat, but sometimes it probably doesn't feel like it. But I think talk is really important, and you know that's what the multi schools has helped with. I think it has, to be honest. You know, meeting other parents. You know, we're probably all. We're all, you know, I think it's very easy you should never blame yourself for anything either, really, because especially like autism, it's not an illness, as you know yourself. You know, it's just a way of life, I suppose, really, and it's just be patient and be kind. It's hard sometimes, very hard. But yeah, I think that would be my thing, just to try and talk to other parents and just try and be as patient as you can,
Yeah,
really, with your kids. And
I
the
agree.
world, we're not all the same, are we? We're not all the same. So, but there's no reason why your child can't get on in life still with
Yeah,
it. It doesn't have to define them.
yeah. I think that's right. Like being patient and being kind, especially what the world we live in at the moment is always the best thing, to be kind to
Yeah,
yourself.
definitely. Yeah, because it's a very strange, slightly, very nasty world out there, really, at times. And it's not. There's no need for it, really. There's no need for it.
No,
But
no.
yeah, I think definitely just other parents, just don't be too hard on yourself. Don't be too hard on yourself, because as hard as it is, sometimes your kids do love you. They do. It's
Yeah,
hard. When Rosie's not having a great moment, you just have to be there for her, really.
yeah. That's all
I
you can do.
think. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But it's been a really nice chatting to you, Shaun, because we spoke to
Yeah,
you
and you.
about lots of good things today.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's been really good.
Mm. Yeah. Thank you, Shaun.
No problem.